I am so excited. The moment of truth is here. It's been months and months of waiting, and finally this arrived in the mail today. This, of course, is the SNES Classic Mini inside the box, announced by Nintendo months and months ago, and just been pulling off links of my paper chain, counting down the days till today. Let's go ahead and open it up, see what's inside the box. Okay, so far, so good. Got a packing slip. Oh, that was nice of Nintendo. They sent me a couple little miniature pillows. And inside the box itself, that's the front. A couple of the headliner games there. Of course, Star Fox 2, that's a pretty big deal. Never released before, brand new here. 2 controllers. Awesome. And the game, it's rated T for teen, so if your parents don't know you're watching this video or opening this box, well, you need to have a frank conversation with them. Some descriptors on the side here. In fact, we got multiple languages, looks like. Same thing over here. Backside, a list of the 21 games that come on the unit, and of course, you know, some of the headliner games. Zelda, Super Mario World, Star Fox, F-Zero. Bottom side, I don't know what all this is. A bunch of warnings, made in China. No surprise there. And the top side has this pretty handsome little logo there. That's the box. It's a little smaller than I thought. You know, you look at those pictures online, and I think they use hand models that have really small hands. So the box looks big. But I kind of have the opposite problem. I have a little bit bigger hands than normal, so the box looks and feels kind of small to me. Looks like we open it up on the side here. Be careful not to rip it. And let's see, it's going to be, yeah, I'm going to flip it over for the full effect. Okay, I'll set this aside right now, and we'll get to what's inside. It looks like we have a kind of an owner's manual. Comes in a plastic bag here. Oh, maybe even a poster. That is so cool. It's got a poster that's kind of like one of those posters you had in your bedroom when you were a kid that had a bunch of games. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 3 is 18 games pictured here. Wonder what the 2 or 3 that were left out were. That's cool. And on the flip side, instructions. Startup instructions, 3 different languages. English, I'm not sure, and I don't know. Hopefully you speak one of those. Warranty information. This is where it really gets exciting, is the warranty card. Love that. I'm going to set that aside. Okay. Let's start here. I'm going to pull this guy out. Some sort of cable. Oh, look at that. A controller cable. Here is one of the controllers. Of course, the NES Classic only came with 1 controller. This one comes with 2. It looks like the Super Nintendo controller of old. Same colors to my eyes, same color of plastic, the gray, light gray, dark gray. It doesn't feel quite the same. It's a little lighter. Also, I'm noticing it's got kind of a taper from the bottom to the top. It's a little thicker up top and a little thinner at the bottom, which I don't think the originals had that. Not sure if I like that or not. I'm just used to it being flat, and this is not flat. Also, they went away from the Nintendo hex bit that you have to have a custom screwdriver for. These are just Phillips head screwdrivers. But feels pretty good. The clicking is nice. It's got a nice clicky poppy sound. And who's not going to like that? So there you go. One of the controllers, of course, also the second controller. That's a huge deal. You know, back in the day, I think consoles were sort of made for one player. A lot of games were one player only. And that's what you did. It was, you know, by yourself, hanging out in the basement. But anymore, you know, we live in a world where you want to play online or you want multiple players. So having two controllers and several games that support two-player, that's awesome. That's fantastic. This is the wall outlet. Pull it out of the bag there. So kind of a nice little wall wart that plugs in, and then a USB power connection out the back of it. Let's go underneath. We'll ignore the console for right now. We've got our power cable. Again, just USB to, I'm not really sure what that connector is called, but that plugs in the back of the console. And an HDMI cable. And of course, last thing in the box, the console itself. Set this aside. Okay, and of course, wow, it just looks great. It looks like if you took your Super Nintendo and put it in the microwave or left it in the washing machine and put it in the dryer for too long and it shrunk down. I mean, that's, again, the colors are exactly as I remember them and exactly as it looks on the legitimate full-size version. Some writing on the backside here, Super NES control deck, got a model number, little serial number there, 4 little rubber stoppers on the bottom, nothing on this side, nothing on this side. Back side, of course, got HDMI out. Here's our little power in, DC in, and it says HDMI there, little vents for air. Front side, the controller inputs, but don't be fooled. Let's see, how do we open this? Okay, so on the bottom side here, this flips up, and that's where your controllers go, right into there. So the connection on the controller, a little bit sad that it's not the original big old oval-shaped controller, but that plugs in there. So it looks like the original controllers would work if they were shrunk down, but not so. The power button here, little LED light. Eject button, doesn't do anything unless you press it really hard, in which case it would break the plastic. And reset. So a couple things to note on this reset. This is the only way you get back to the home menu. Once you've turned it on and started a game, you have to hit reset to go back to home. You can reset a game. Once you're inside, say, Zelda, you would push left, right, select, and start, and that would reset the game for you. But once you're inside the game itself, this is the only way to get back to the home menu. So that's a little bit of a downer or design flaw, I would think. Still, feels very solid, well made. It's not going to break if you dropped it. Yeah, just great. And this fits so much better in your entertainment cabinet than the big old original SNES. Of course, I like having both. The original, you can't really replace it, but man, just beautiful. Looks great. Let's see, a couple other things. The controller length it's 5 feet now, which is 2 feet longer than the NES Classic. If you got the NES Classic, the cables there are incredibly short, beyond what a T-Rex would, I guess T-Rex would need an extra long controller. So a T-Rex might be able to play with this controller because of its extra length. What else? 21 games. Star Fox, of course, unreleased. That's on this system now. My all-time favorite favorite video game ever is on here. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Excellent game. I'm betting you have played it. It's also got Ghosts and Goblins. Love that game. Fantastic. It's challenging, really difficult. Contra 3. It's got F-Zero. Kirby Superstar. I haven't played that one much. The SNES Classic has a better library than the NES Classic. It really does. It's got more of the better games that belong to this system than the NES Classic did. That being said, there's a few omissions, few that are missing that I would really like to see. NBA Jam, Mortal Kombat, Turtles in Time, Turtles 4. But all things being equal, this is an excellent library. If you're wondering if it's worth it, if you played this system at all, if you grew up with this system, or if you were familiar with it at all from cousins or friends, or just an old one lying around and you kind of liked playing it, I think for $80 it's hard to beat that price, and the entertainment that you'll get from it, hours and hours of playtime, and maybe discovering some games that you're not very familiar with and remembering some old classics. If you were to buy those games on their own, buy the Kart version of the games, you can watch my other video about is this worth it. They would run you about $700 to build out this library, just owning the physical original carts. So really, it's hard to replicate that. And Nintendo's done that with the SNES Classic, $80, $79.99. Nintendo has said they'll make sure they have lots of these, so if you don't have one now, I would be patient. Don't jump on eBay and pay a whole bunch of money. You'll be able to get one if you're patient. Nintendo is promising to deliver much more than the NES. So that's it. I'm going to plug this in, see how it plays, and maybe do a review of the interface and some of the games and kind of a higher level, actually the software on this system. How do I like it? How does it feel? How does it play? What do I like about it? What do I dislike about it? Thank you for watching. Comments, complaints, always welcome, and happy gaming.